So we have an underlight of my beautiful round face, and my terrible new haircut, and fans going, so I hear that, and I'm cuddling with a pillowcase full of clean clothes. This is a great start. So I asked on Facebook whether or not I should make a vlog thing, but of course it auto-corrected to blog, so whatever. Of whether or not I should, spill the tea, I guess. I'm not super in on the whole new terms. I'm 21 and I already feel old. But there's been some stuff going on in my life, and I feel like I should tell all. Or maybe just get some stuff off my chest. Okay, how to start this? When there are certain people in your life who think that spending money on you means that they get to treat you however they want, that is probably a bad thing. Everyone is an individual, and if you feel like that is acceptable for your own personal treatment, if you accept that, if you think that that's okay, then it is okay for you. But that's not okay for me, for example. I don't care how much money you spend on me, you treat me like shit, and I'm not going to be happy about it. So, and I'm using extreme terms, but the situation in which I'm going to talk about this, not quite as extreme as it could be, or could have been. So, as some of my friends on Facebook know, since this is going to be posted there and on YouTube, my mom died in 2016. And since then, I've moved 3 times and gone through some really tough stuff that I may talk about later. But because of that, with every death, depending on your family, there are people that might come into your life and try to monopolize on the situation. I had some family members who were not very kind people, and because of that, I had to not talk with them anymore. And I still regret it all the time, not because it was a bad decision, but because the way that they conducted themselves made it so that I could not have a relationship with them, because I needed to be okay with me. And they were making that practically impossible. So that aside, that's a whole nother story I can tell at some point. I have a neighbor, and I don't have it now, I've moved 3 times, but from my childhood home, I have a neighbor who has decided that from the sounds of it, we're not talking anymore. And we were talking for a while. I mean, if it only stopped recently. It's been a while since my mom died. And she's been very helpful, and I thank her for that help. And her friend has been very helpful, and I thank her for that help. So, I have fallen out with this person, it seems. from the way that she has discussed it. And I feel the need to note that this is something that I feel did not need to happen, I guess. So my situation as of right now is I'm staying with a friend in her family's house. I'm working on getting a job, working on some of my mental health stuff, working on getting OHP, all that jazz. And she helped me, I think was it earlier this year? It was either early, I think it had to be earlier this year. Get some clothes for some job interviews, which I appreciated because a lot of my clothes are like 10 years old and have holes in them now. Like literally, I don't think I have a pair of pants in my clean clothes at this point that doesn't have a hole in the inner thigh area. They're not like questionable holes, but they're like because my thighs rub together because I'm thick. Don't even give me that credit. I am fat. But yeah, so because of that, I have holes in them. So I appreciated having the ability to have a new set of pants. I was supposed to have 2 sets of pants, and they haven't gotten back to me, and I highly doubt that they will at this point. But anyway, so since then, she's been helping me out. She got me some groceries when I really needed it. And this person, I don't want to not talk to them anymore, if that makes sense. I am okay with being in their life. I'm okay with them helping me out. I know, super selfish sounding, but I feel like as a human being, people deserve respect, you know? And I feel like we were sort of edging towards a place where we were not going to be okay anymore, if that makes sense. So she would check up on me every couple weeks, and that was okay with me. I was super fine with it. I was okay with answering some questions. She was telling me some stuff about my mom's old house, just generally discussion stuff. And she had asked me if I was getting a job, or if I had found a job, whatever. So I have multiple people in my life who asked me this, like my brother. Now, he, right, would say stuff like, hey, have you found a job yet? And I would say, no, but I'm working on it. And he would be like, oh, okay, and accept that. She took that as an opportunity to tell me about how hard life is, and about, it's a culmination, or I guess a combination. I can't talk. Multiple things that she has said to me have built up now to the point that we have had this discussion, or had the discussion that I had with her, I guess, because, she said stuff like, you really need to try and be independent and super successful, and like, I know, I am 21 years of age. I don't know everything. I have the maturity enough to know that I don't know everything. But what I do know, at least about myself, is that the more somebody nags me to do something, the less likely that I am to do it. Yeah. And I think that's a common thing with everybody. The more you nag them, the less likely they are to do it. There's been vines about it, entertainment about it. It's a common knowledge thing, okay? So I said that I would appreciate, not talking about it, because she would bring it up every time we talked. And the way that she brought it up, it was irritating, it was aggravating. Like, I am my own greatest critic. I know when I need to get my shit done. I don't need to be reminded of that constantly, okay? I don't need it. So she said that she had a voice, that she was, like, allowed to talk to me however she wanted to, and said that if I promised that I was going to try and get a job, that she would not remind me about it until I got one, and then she would congratulate me, which was her thing. And then she sent me the kiss emoji afterward. Which to me, right, felt very much like a sarcastic gesture. I know it wasn't. I know it isn't, because she's not that hip of person. But that's like saying, hey, you're a loser, but I love you anyway. No. 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 So, I, at that point, said, or I stopped. I stopped talking to her for a second, because I needed to breathe for a little bit before I dignified that with an answer. And I talked with my best friend, and she said, well, she sounds like she's trying to genuinely help, which I understood, and I do understand, and I respect that. And she said, and if you don't, you could just say that you're trying, and, accept that she's just not going to change. Only, like, from my perspective, right, is she is an adult. I am an adult. If it had been any other adult that had said, I don't want to talk about this, I know for a fact, because of the kind of person she is, which is a nice, genuine person, that she would have respected that answer and dropped it. I don't like the idea that I am somehow less worthy of respect in her eyes than another adult. Being an adult, if that makes sense. So me at 21, since she's known me since I was little, right, am worthy less of the respect that she would give another adult that she met on the street. That doesn't make sense to me, and I don't really appreciate it, like, at all. So I said, no, I'm not going to promise that, because I know that if any other adult in your life would have asked you this, right, that you would have respected that answer. And I said, I would like to have the respect of you, like, to respect my decisions of when, where, who, why, how, like, and she said that it sounds like you all have it all figured out, and that, and due to some of your comments, to avoid being disrespected, I will leave you to your devices to move on from now on, I guess. And that, to me, sounds like I have somehow disrespected her by attempting to create a boundary. I have somehow disrespected her by attempting to do that. And so she's going to avoid talking to me at this point, because she doesn't want to be disrespected at the idea that I felt disrespected by what she was doing. I'm not a big stickler on respect, really, like, ever at all. I'm not one of those people like, don't you disrespect me, don't you disrespect me. That's not who I am. But I am enough of that person at this point in my life where I don't have time for people in my life that are not there to help me in such a way that I can help myself. So my mom, right, growing up, believed that the things that she spent money on meant that I owed her, right? Which, I mean, technically, if you want to get super technical, I did, right? But I didn't ask for it, She did everything for me, and then expected that I was suddenly going to be able to do it myself, and then got annoyed when she had to spend money to try and fix what she had done, right? So I failed math 5 times. It sucks. I hate it. I still hate math. That's why I can't pass college math classes. But because of that, right, why are you dying on me? There we go. So she sent me to Sylvan Learning. I don't know if you've heard about that. They're really good at teaching you. They really are. Like, no shade to them. I appreciated my time there. I enjoyed spending time there. It was awesome. But she got mad at me, right, and held it against me, the fact that she had to spend money for somebody else to teach me something, right, that I should have learned and didn't because she did it for me. And she holds that against me, or held that against me. She's dead now. But like, does that make sense to anybody else? Because it doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, that's the sort of thing that I felt had happened. But about this other lady, I just want to have it be perfectly clear about my stance on the situation. If I am ready to do something and choose to do it, that is my prerogative. That is my choice. And the more nagging happens, the less likely it is to happen from my standpoint, right? My brother has reached this place where he knows that if he nags me out to do something, I will not do it. I don't know why that is how the world works for me. I don't know. But it does. And he also agrees that that is my life. This is the life that I am living, and I am the only one who can make those choices. And I'm not likely to make those choices because other people make them for me, you know? He also understands that if I ask for help, then I am asking for help, and I know who he is, right? So if I'm asking for help from him, I know what to expect. If I'm asking for help from my best friend, I know what to expect. If I ask for help from this neighbor person, I know what to expect. But this neighbor person has gone from helping me when I ask to doing things and trying to get me to do things that I am not ready for. You know, when I get a job, I will get a job. Like, you nagging me about it isn't going to get me a job faster, isn't going to make me feel like it's my own choice. I have lived under the thumb of somebody for 19 years of my 21 years, okay? I'm learning still how to be like a person, okay? I'm still dealing with that stuff. And unfortunately, it doesn't just go away, and it doesn't just fix itself because you say it's fixed, or you say you're in a better position now. Clearly, you need to be doing things better. That's not how it works. That's not how human growth works. I can say some very, very salty and unhappy things to this person, but I'm not going to, because I don't want to destroy somebody over something like this. But I need it to be known, right, that if that is how you work as a person, okay, in general, outside of me, outside of this lady, outside of this situation, okay, it is imperative, and my friends will tell you, that I preach communication. I preach communication because I didn't have much of it growing up, okay? If there is a way that you know how you work, and it like affects how you involve yourself and interact with human beings on the planet, then you need to let people know that you're going to associate with on a regular basis, right? That's how you work. And that can be really difficult, and that can be something that's like, oh, yeah, you just say that, and then, you don't do it. Ask anybody who I've lived with, and they will tell you that I attempt to keep communication open. As far as, like, in the present, the past year, it's sort of taken me to sort of get there. I lived with my friend Abby for a while. She knows that I preach communication to her every day. It's funny to look back on for me, and she's just like, why do you do this to me? But yeah, so that's my spill the tea, whatever, for the day, and I'll talk about something else next time. But I needed to talk about this because I feel like it's something that other people go through and don't know how to deal with. And maybe it can help somebody, maybe it hurts somebody, I don't know. If it's hurting somebody, let me know, and maybe I can do something about that. But it was imperative that I said something, okay? Because I talked to my best friend, I talked to this person, I talked to my brother, and I just sort of needed it to be out there. So, yeah, I will talk to you guys later.